Good evening, anyone. Excuse me, everyone. Call to order, school board meeting on March 5th, 2024. The invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance tonight will be led by Mr. Crowders.
Lord, as we gather here tonight as a board and as a group of citizens, Lord, we just invite your presence. We ask for your presence to be here. Lord, we ask for your wisdom. We ask for your guidance in dealing with the matters at hand, Lord. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin our agenda, I would please have a moment of silence for the following individuals who recently passed away. Christina Duplantis, school bus operator. Catherine Chasson, retired school teacher. Carolyn Elkins, retired instructional coach. Carolyn was my maid of honor on my wedding day. A very good friend. Janice Blanchard, retired school food service technician. And Edith Nakia, retired school food service technician. Thank you. Item number 5. Excuse me, roll call.
Mr. Michael Lagarde.
Here.
Mr. Gregory Harding. Mr. Matthew Ford.
Here.
Mrs. Debbie Benoit.
Here.
Mr. Don Crowdis.
Here.
Dr. Bud Kluche.
Here.
Mr. Roger Dale Dehart. Dr. Maybelle Trahan.
Here.
And Mr. James Wazan. Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Item number 5, approval of the minutes of school board meeting on February the 6th, 2024. Recommendation that the board approve the minutes of the school board meeting from February 6th as recorded. So moved, Mr. Ford.
Second.
Second by Ms. Benoit. Any public comment? Ms. Ford? Ms. Ben? Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Is Mr. Hamner here?
He
this
is
evening?
here. He is.
Mr. Hamner, are you here this evening? I was looking for you, right?
Had to break 3 traffic laws.
I was looking for you at your regular seat. Item number 6. We are fondly grateful that we have Mr. Hammer free from his duties at the council to be with us tonight. We appreciate his presence. We want to show him some appreciation for his work during the time he was here. Mr. Hamner served our board diligently from January 2019 to January 2024. During that time, he served as chairman of Finance, Insurance, and Section 16's Lands Committee, and he was also our legislative liaison. Speech.
Do I need to state my name and address? Look, y'all, I really appreciate this, that y'all are giving me this honor tonight. I have to tell you, I already miss every one of y'all. I've gotten more phone calls in the first month of being on the council than I did in 5 years on the school board. I promise you. And it's a lot of fun, but I tell you what, the real work's done here with the kids. The things that the school board does it's tremendous, and I had some things I was going to say about each individual one. You know, I was going to bring Bubba a book about the metrosexual dresser. I had a microphone for Mr. Ford to give him, and I had a beret to give Mr. Lagarde, you know, because in all my days I've known him as being a militant. He's never worn a beret. I did have an 8x12 picture of me so you could remember me, Greg. Yeah, and I had a special book for Mr. Crowdis because I know he loves to read. And I found a formal evening gown to give to Ms. Benoit, because she is the classiest dresser I know. And Bud, good luck. Yeah, I really appreciate y'all doing this, so thank you.
We have some.
I also had two brains, one to give Ms. Trahan and one to give Mr. Voisin, so they don't have to share the same one. I got a cat here all over. Beautiful.
Quiet, don't go anywhere.
Go nowhere.
Don't go anywhere. Well, you can't get away with saying that. Get away.
Get away from listening to you, Greg. Yeah.
Doc, can I have the floor, Doc, first, if you don't mind?
Yes.
Okay. I'll tell you one thing, Clyde. It's been an honor actually working with you, but I've been knowing you for God knows I don't know how long. You had hair, I had hair, and we wasn't gray. And actually, my wife works for you at Legion Park School. And, what I really liked about you, you could have worked anywhere in the world, and you chose to work at those low level or low challenging schools. And I would never, ever forget that. And for you new board members, Clyde, when we go to our conventions, Clyde will close the doors on everybody. He'd be the last one straggling in. So I'm going to miss telling you good night, the last one in there. But you really enjoyed yourself, and thank you for the great work that you had done, but being the liaison between us and the state. And I know you had the time to do it, and you really give the 100%. I mean, I really can honestly say, but I didn't agree on everything, and that's okay. But we still friends. And you really put your heart into it, and I know you're gonna do a great job on the council. You can't get rid of the Harding, so you're gonna run into another Harding there. So
Already made him my new best friend.
all right then. Wish you the best of luck, Clyde.
Thank you, Greg.
Anyone else? I just want to add, Ms. LaGordon.
We go way back, like Greg said. When I was a student at South Terrebonne and I saw Mr. Harry, he had hair, he was a hippie. And I'm like, who this guy? He was a hippie. Then years later, he worked with my wife, and Lord, he had my son, and I entrusted my son with him, and then I'm in debt to him for that. And I always clown him with him about his hair, but we had a good time, and I got on the board, enjoyed working with you, Mr. Hamner, and I really respect you, and I know you're going to do great things for our parish. And thank again for Nick. You really helped me out with that when he was a young man at Village East, and all of the kids. So you know how I feel about you.
Thank you, Mike. That means a lot to me.
Ms. Benoit.
Clyde, I think that you have one of the greatest sense of humors. I mean, I probably haven't laughed at anybody as much as I have laughed with you, as well as at you for some of the things that you've done. But I've really enjoyed working with you and getting to know you better, and you have done a fabulous job as chair of the Finance Committee. You explain things to us that we probably couldn't have figured out ourselves, and you worked really hard at that. And also working with the staff and with some of the vendors to try to get us the correct information. So I know that you're going to work just as hard for the council, and we do miss you on the board, but do good work for them too, and you're still working for us as far as that's concerned, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Benoit, or Debbie. Yeah, I got to control that brand of humor on the council. They just don't get it.
They don't get it.
Yeah.
Ms. Ford.
So I went to a council meeting this week or last week, and one of the guys before Clyde got there said, "So we picked up your problem child." And honestly, I thought I was the problem child. But you did leave some big shoes to fill, and I just told him the one piece of advice I can give is don't let them get wet and don't feed them after midnight. So keep it up.
It's a good one.
Oh, Clyde, what can I say? Clyde and I go way back. We extended family. his ex-wife, excuse me, his wife that has gone to heaven, is my husband's first cousin. So we did Christmases together and Thanksgivings together a long time before neither one of us became educators or became part of this board. So I know that you were going to be a big benefit to the council and to the parish and all of that's entailed in that, because I know it can be very comprehensive with all of the different things the council has to deal with. And I know they have a good one with you to handle that.
Thank you,
Best of luck.
Maybelle. And thank you for mentioning Christine, because she's the reason why I am what I am today. She kept me going when things got tough, and, over the years, you and I both know we had some tough times, and, in the school system, times we thought maybe we'd want to hang it up. She was right there by my side, man, keeping me going. So I appreciate that. Means a lot.
Mr. Ogeron.
I think Mr. Crowder's had
Oh, Mr.
something.
Crowder, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Mr. Clyde,
Mr. Clyde.
thoroughly appreciate the relationship that you and I have come into over the last year. Appreciate the coffee conversations, appreciate the telephone calls. Have learned a lot from you in just a short period of time. I'm also glad that Miss Maybelle sort of brought up the memory of your wife. I was going to say something, but I wasn't quite sure if I should. But one of our conversations over coffee, you told me of the situation with your wife and that story. And I just want you to know that it really touched me because it showed the true character of who you are. And just wanted to share that with you. I appreciate your friendship.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's everybody. Is that?
Ms. Cloutier?
I wish I knew what to say. I haven't had the opportunity of working with you, but I do appreciate that you were serving my district here on the school board, and appreciate the job that you've done. I certainly have increased in respect for all that you had to do now that I see what's going on, or am beginning to see what's going on. So I appreciate that a lot. And, I think, again, you'll be a tremendous asset to the council. Appreciate what your commitment is to this parish, the people of this parish. It's kind of like being in an emergency room. People don't call you up to go, gee, thank you for the job you're doing. It's really great. They call you up to go, this is on fire, this is breaking down, this is whatever. But, you sign up for that. And I appreciate you signing up for that, because that's a big commitment, and we need people who are committed to keep this parish a place where our children want to come and live. Thank you.
Thank you, Bud. And let me just say this. I've been checking up on you, and District 6 is real pleased with their new school board member. Very pleased.
Thank you.
So if you don't mind, I'll add something. So Mr. Hamner, we've developed a really good friendship. We've attended a lot of events together, but I tell you, it started out with, he challenged me. And he put me to the test right out the gate, and I appreciate that. You pushed me, and you made me accountable. And as a new superintendent, as tough as it was, it made me stronger. So I appreciate that. I don't know if you realize that, but it did. It made me prepared and ask all the right questions, so I had all the right answers, because you were coming with questions. And sometimes I could never follow where you were going sometimes, because you made it difficult, which is a good thing. You asked the right questions, and I think you did everything for the right reason. I know you did. You did it for teachers and kids, and you said it tonight, and everything you did, you had a lot of great ideas, and at the end of the day, it was for the right reason. So thank you for that. And like Don said, I've heard a lot about Christine from you, and touching.
Thank you.
And
I
every
appreciate
time you talk about her, it's an emotional thing. So I know that was she was special in your life, obviously.
and your baby
Bubba,
girl.
all those questions were following the scientific method, you know, ask the right questions and you discover the answers on your own. And you're the best superintendent we've had. I'm going to tell you that right now. Yeah. There've been some great ones too. And he's earning his salary now. So, that's it. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Next item on the agenda is 7A, special recognition of Brian Blanchard, H.L. Bourgeois High School senior. Are you here, Brian?
Yes, he is here. He's here.
Brian's here.
Come on
Brian,
up.
come on up.
Come on up. We are so honored to have you here tonight, Brian. Terrebonne Parish 2023 Teenager of the Year. Wow, by the American Legion Post. The floor is yours, Brian. What would you like to share with us tonight?
I just want to thank my parents and my teachers for pushing me and motivating me, and it feels good to represent Terrebonne Parish and get this honor. So,
Are your parents here tonight?
my mom is here.
Please stand.
And his principal.
And his principal, please stand. Good work, Mom. Good work, Ms. Moses. Any board members have any comments?
Dr. Trine, could we have some of the recognition that he earned to get this award? Do you have a list of those accomplishments?
No, I do not.
Well, maybe Brian can tell us some of those
Yes, that's
things.
why he's here.
Well, I'm honored to be H.L. Bourgeois Student of the Year for 2024. And I'm involved in a lot of the clubs and sports over there. I do tennis, bowling, quiz bowl, beta, NHS, things like that. I had a good time this year providing for the community. I went with my friend to go help the Marine Corps with their toy drive. I had a good time doing that, sorting toys. And it's good to give back, so.
Very honorable.
Brian, what's your plans? Where do you see yourself next year and beyond?
Next year, I think I see myself going to Nichols. It seems like the right choice for me right now. Chemistry interests me a lot, so I'm planning to major in that. And as of right now, I'm enrolled for the professional chemistry concentration. So I'm looking at maybe going and get a master's or a PhD in that.
Outstanding.
Wonderful.
Brian, please let us know on this board if we can help you along your journey in any way. I think we have something for you. Does Mom want to come up and the principal to get in the picture? Come on, girls.
He must have the height from his dad, right? He must have the height from his dad.
This evening's been turning out
Can I
pretty,
add one
on a high note, huh?
Yeah.
Mr. Orgeron?
So, hey, Brian and everyone, just so you know that Teenager of the Year is one is the most elite honor you can have. I mean, you have all schools in public and private represented, and Brian is the winner from our school. So, Brian, we're just proud of you, really proud of you, and we wish you nothing but the best beyond your time at H.L. Bourgeois. So good luck, and we know you'll be successful. So congratulations, Brian.
Seven B announcements. On March the 7th, we will have ERC, Employee Representative Committee, at 4:30. On March 19th, we'll have the monthly committee meetings at 5 p.m., beginning with Finance, Insurance, Section 16, followed by Executive, Buildings, and Education. On April the 9th, we will have our regular school board meeting at 6 p.m. Board members, if you would so entertain the deviation from our scheduled agenda tonight to bring up item for the Retired Teachers Association. Do I have any objection? So moved by Mr. Harding, second by Mr. Ford. Is there any public comment? Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. That would be item 9. Let me get there. 9A1, approval of proclamation under the superintendent's agenda.
So the recommendation is that the board approve the following proclamation recognizing March 21st, 2024 as Retired Teachers Day in Terrebonne Parish School District. Proclamation states, whereas Louisiana's retired teachers have devoted their careers to the education and training of tens of thousands of Louisiana's youth, and whereas Louisiana's retired teachers have provided job and social skill training for adults throughout the state, and whereas Louisiana's retired teachers have rendered valuable services in diverse leadership roles to their communities and institutions throughout their careers and continue to render such services as retirees, and whereas Louisiana's retired teachers represent the profession which is given the basic responsibility for launching the careers of state and national leaders and for laying the foundation for the welfare of all members of our society. And whereas Louisiana's retired teachers represent a tremendous pool of experience and training which remains dedicated to the betterment of society everywhere. And whereas Louisiana's retired teachers represent loyal, patriotic, and concerned citizenry which provides a dedicated and dependable support to the leaders in our community, state, nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by proclamation of the Honorable Governor Jeff Landry, the Terrebonne Parish School Board also recognizes and hereby proclaims March 21st, 2024 as Retired Teachers Day, and be it further resolved that copies of this proclamation be forwarded to all Terrebonne Parish public schools and office buildings.
Do I have a motion? Moved by Mr. Ford, second by Mr. Lagarde. Any public comment? Ms. Ford? Mr. Lagarde? Any other board members? Any objections? So ordered. I think tonight we have in our audience from Terrebonne Retired Teachers, Ms. Dusenberry. Would you like to come up? And you can introduce the members of your board, Mr. Bush, if he's here, Ms. White, and Mr. Hamner.
Okay, you got the other group too? Okay, all right.
Good evening, Dr. Trahan, an honored guest honored school board. I'm so thankful that you have graciously accepted March 21st as our day of recognition, so to speak. I'm sorry, I've been teaching all day. I'm still teaching. And we thank you so much again. We have Rocky Bush and Gail and Pauline over here. So these are all basically some of our board members. We have a few more, but some of them couldn't attend. But again, we graciously accept your, and Clyde over there too. Sorry about that, Clyde. He's all over the place. But we thank you again. And do y'all want to say something? Want to say anything? Okay. Well, we appreciate it again. Thank you so much, and God bless y'all.
You too.
But before you leave,
Yes,
can
ma'am.
I have all the other retired teachers in the room to stand, please? So you can be recognized.
Any more retired teachers?
I know I'm a retired teacher.
Ah, you want that?
Thank you. I think we have a proclamation for you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, I'd like to be retired.
Yeah, they're going to do them right after.
The executive director of the Louisiana Retired Teachers Association, his name's Rodney Watson, asked me to express my thanks, or his thanks to the school board for doing this recognition tonight. He loves Terrebonne Parish, yeah, and he's done a lot for this system. And the LRTA is an advocacy group for retired teachers, both in the legislature and in Washington. Some of you probably already know I'm going to be the next president. I'm president-elect of LRTA right now, and I'll be taking over in April for a 2-year term in Baton Rouge. So we really do appreciate the board doing this.
I'm sure.
We hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank y'all again.
Thank y'all for letting us get Clyde back.
Y'all gonna bring him back.
All right. Also with us here tonight is a representative from Terrebonne Retired Teachers and Education Association Incorporated, Mr. Ernest Brown. Are you here?
Yes, he is.
Please. And introduce the ladies that you have with you.
Good evening. Thank you for the recognition. I have with me the Vice President, the historian, and the Financial Secretary. They're going to introduce themselves. I give them.
Denise Johnson. I am a retired teacher. I taught for 33 years. I spent 27 at Oaklawn, and I retired 1 year. I've been working ever since. I enjoy it.
Edna Walker. I taught for 34 and a half years at Upper Lucayu, 2nd grade, and I enjoy being retired, but I am staying busy because I'm presently volunteering at Thibodeau Regional Hospital, and also I am a mentor at the Gray Senior Center in Gray.
Awesome.
Joyce Bolden, retired speech pathologist. I taught speech for 37 years, and then I did 2 more plus. So happy to be here, and thank you all.
Any board members have anything to say?
Here we go again. Like bending back.
All righty. Mike?
Hey, guys, hold up.
Mike has a few words. Excuse me, Mr. LaGorde has a few words.
Exactly. Coach, I want to thank y'all for y'all service, and y'all still looking so young, you know, and that's a great thing. And I know y'all retired, but y'all not retired, you know. So I'd like to thank y'all for the community and stuff y'all have done. All y'all retired teachers, because I know a lot of y'all and y'all still working, and I appreciate that. I really do. All of y'all out there, I done had some connection with, and I know y'all still teach me if I do something wrong, because Coach gonna call me. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Harding has a word.
Thank you. I would like to congratulate both groups, both teacher retirees. I mean, there's just so much knowledge within these groups here. It just amazed me that the knowledge that we have in this room and the years of experience that we have. Coach Brown, I don't know if you know Coach Brown history. He wasn't just a great teacher. He also was a great mentor to a lot of kids that came under his program, coaching at South Terrebonne and coaching at Terrebonne High, and also working at Villanova School over there. And not just that, also he was coaching at Villanova. Okay. Yeah, although he was also a great basketball player also too. Back in the days against Larry Wilson, when he used to pack the stadium, him and Larry Wilson playing basketball. And it's a story that most people don't know this year. He had a broken leg when he was up north somewhere in school, and he dunked the basketball with a broken leg. And then he went to LSU and became a star at LSU. So
Any other people?
He's,
Mr. Ford.
Mr. Brown sleeps with a Grambling shirt on.
Mr. Brown, you,
He sleeps with a Grambling shirt. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
18 years ago to this date, Mr. Harding, Mr. Brown, and a couple other people were on the sideline watching me coach a championship game of Oaklawn at Oaklawn. I don't even remember who we were playing, but I just remember they were looking through me. If looks could kill, and although we had gone undefeated up until that point, I just knew there was no way we were losing that game, no matter what. At all costs, we were going to win because we had such greatness in our presence. And I just want to show you my appreciation because you've always been that guy that I look up to, not just because you're a little taller than me, but yeah.
I can tell Clyde has been the influence of the.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Come up to the mic, sir, so I can hear you.
In October of this year, we're going to have the state retired teachers convention at the Marriott. It's going to be one of the first times that we have it down here in this part of the country, so to speak. And it's going to be a big deal. We'll be coming to y'all, let y'all know what you can do to help us make it a big success.
Awesome.
It's going to be a 3 or 4 day event, and we're hoping to bring a lot of retirees into Terrebonne Parish.
Great.
That's coming in October.
Great. Can I just say one thing? To both groups, it's so impressive to hear the contributions that y'all are still making to our community, serving the hospitals, serving more students. I just think it's fabulous that you're still willing to share all the resources and knowledge that you have with the broader community, and thank you for that.
All right, returning to our agenda with the committee meeting reports, item number 8. First one tonight is education, and we're going to hand over the meeting to Ms. Benoit.
Thank you, Dr. Trahan. The Education, Technology, and Policy Committee met at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, in the boardroom of the school board office. Members present were myself, Mr. Roger Dale Dehart, Mr. Greg Harding, Vice Chair, was absent. Oh, I'm sorry. Also in attendance were Dr. Trahan, Mr. Voisin, Dr. Kluche, interim school board member. And why do we put that as interim school? Oh, I guess we have to add that part. Mr. Ford, Mr. Lagarde, Mr. Crowdis, Superintendent Ogeron, and members of his staff. We only had one recommendation, and that was the committee recommends that the board approve and authorize the purchasing department to advertise bids for the mobile planetarium units, funding to be derived from the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, or ESSER 3. I have moved by Mr. Ford, second by Mr. Crowdis. Any public comment? Mr. Ford?
Being a space nerd, I'm excited that they're getting these planetary.
That's awesome. Mr. Crowdis? No. Okay, any other school board members? Any objections? Hearing none, so moved. There being no further business, the committee ended at 5:41 PM on that date, and I turn the meeting back over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 8B, Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee. Ms. Ford.
Thank you, Madam President. The Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee met immediately following the 5 p.m. Education, Technology, and Policy Committee meeting on Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, in the boardroom of the School Board Office with the following members present: myself as chairman, Mr. Don Crowdis as vice chairman, and Dr. Bud Kluche as interim school board member and member of the committee. Also in attendance were Dr. Maybelle Trahan, Mr. Dane Voisin, Ms. Debbie Benoit, Mr. Roger Dale Dehart, Mr. Michael Lagarde, Superintendent Bubba Ogeron, and members of his staff. We did have one recommendation, and that is the committee recommends that the board receive the June 30th, 2023 Terrebonne Parish School Board Audit Report as presented from Mr. Lester Rishu with Laporte CPAs, and I don't think he's here this evening, so the recommendation is that we receive and accept the report. And I would like to note that the report showed that there were, we received an unmodified opinion, and there were no risk with our report. This is, if I remember correctly, the 19th year in a row that we've received that. So do I have a recommendation? So moved. Moved by Dr. Cloutier, seconded by Mr. Crowdis. Any public comment? Dr. Cloutier? No. Mr. Crowdis? Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. There being no further business to come before the Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee, the meeting adjourned at 6:14 p.m., and I turn the meeting back over to you, Dr. Trump.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Item 8C, Executive Committee Report. The Executive Committee met immediately following the 5 p.m. Education, Technology, and Policy Committee and the Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Land Committee on Tuesday, February 2024, in the boardroom of the School Board Office with the following members present: myself, President; Mr. Voisin, Vice President; Mr. Michael Lagarde, member. Also in attendance were Mr. Cloutier, interim board member; Ms. Benoit, Mr. Ford, Mr. Dehart, Ms. Crowder, Superintendent Bubba Ogeron, and members of his staff. The meeting was called to order. The Executive Committee examined and authorized payments for invoices for the current month, including supplemental payroll and travel expenses. There were no committee concerns. Do I have a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Ford, second by Ms. Benoit. Any public comment? Ms. Ford? No. Ms. Benoit?
No,
Any other
ma'am.
board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Being that there was no further more business to come before the Executive Committee, the meeting was adjourned at 6:18 p.m. Item 8D, Buildings, Food Service, and Transportation Committee. Mr. Voisin is absent today. He is the chair. I see Mr. Lagarde, who is the co-chair, has stepped out. So as member, I will proceed until he returns. The Buildings, Food Service, and Transportation Committee met immediately following the 5 p.m. Education, Technology, and Policy Committee, Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee, and Executive Committee meetings on Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. In the board meeting room with the School Board Office with the following members present: Mr. Dane Voisin, Chairman; Mr. Lagarde, Vice Chairman; myself, member. Also in attendance was Mr. Cloutier, Mr. Ford, Ms. Benoit, Mr. Crowdis, Mr. Dehart, Superintendent Bubba Ogeron, and members of his staff. Recommendation number 1. The committee recommends the board approve and authorize Child Nutrition Department to advertise for yearly bids July 1st, 2004 through June 30th, 2025 for milk products, fruit juice, fresh fruits and vegetables, and supplies and disposables for the 24-25 school session.
So moved.
So move, Mr. Ford. Second by Ms. Cloche. Any public comment? Mr. Ford? Ms. Cloche? Any other additional objections? None heard, so ordered. Recommendation number 2. The committee recommends that the board approve and authorize the Child Nutrition Department to advertise for 6-month bids, July 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, for meats and frozen items and canned and dry goods for the 2024 fall session.
So moved.
So move, Mr. Ford. Second by Mr. Cloche. Public comment? Mr. Ford? Ms. Cloche? Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Recommendation number 3. The committee recommends the board authorize the Child Nutrition Department to proceed with the advertisements of requests for proposals for 1 year with the option for 2-year renewals on concentrated detergents and linen services for the 2024-25 school session. So move, Mr. Harding. Second by Mr. Ford. Any public comment? Mr. Harding? Mr. Ford? Any other objections? None heard, so ordered. Recommendation number 4. The committee recommends the board approve and authorize the purchasing department to advertise for bids for the following maintenance and repair services for the 2024-25 school year.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Benoit.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ford. Any public comment? Ms. Benoit?
No,
Mr.
ma'am.
Ford? Any other board members? Oh, yes, sir.
I don't know.
I was on a roll there.
Is Ally here?
She is here.
Oh, okay, I see her back there, all right. My eyes are still a little blurry. So this bid request is for the 2024-2025 school year. How long are they locked in with, what are the actual dates of the contract if we get it?
They're locked in for a year, so it'll be July 1st through June 30th.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure, fiscal year. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Mr. Crowders?
So the contracts that we have right now, they've all expired since they're 1 year?
They will on June 30th.
Okay. And are you going to be going back to some of the same contractors for these different things?
If they have the lowest bid.
If they have the lowest bid, okay. And I remember there was a while back where we had some issues with like the grass cutting and everything like that. Did that all ever get resolved?
That's a separate contract.
Separate contract? Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
That's a good one.
It's a great question.
No,
Any other board members?
We're working on keeping all that in line. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any objections? Oh, you have more, Mr. Boyd?
No, it's not really a question, but I would like to see, and I don't want to create more work for you, so please forgive me. I would like to see just this year's contract versus when the next year's contract comes. I'd like to see, if there is an inflation adjustment, if we have to consider that, just something that we should consider as a board.
comparison.
Yeah, comparison.
That's a good idea.
I can tell you just by evaluating like last year's and the previous years, a lot of the prices have been staying pretty much the same. I like copy and paste sometimes last year's bid into the evaluation. So they haven't gone up too much.
Thank you.
But I'll let you know again after.
Madam Chair, I have one more. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I want to get back to this. So we've had contracts. We're going to rebid again. Some of these same people may come back, and if they're the lowest bid, okay.
Yes.
So are we obligated to accept just because they're the lowest bid, or are we grading their work as well?
We are obligated to accept the lowest bid. If there's any reason that there were any issues before, we'd have to document and we can potentially declare them non-responsible. But we haven't, for these particular projects, we haven't gotten to that point for these particular supplies and services.
Are we satisfied with the work that these companies have been doing?
I think so.
Okay. All
And
right.
I don't really, that's more of a Mr. Sammy.
I got you. No problem. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
No other comments? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Recommendation number 5. Committee recommends the board approve and authorize the purchasing department to advertise for bids for the following maintenance, supplies, and equipment for 2024-25 school year. So moved by Ms. Benoit.
Second.
Second by Mr. Crowders. Any public comment? Ms. Benoit? Mr. Crowders? Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Recommendation number 6. The committee recommends that the board issue a notice to proceed as per contractual agreement to Vergis Rome Architects, APAC, for plans and specifications for the renovation of Terrebonne High School.
So moved. I think it's this,
Was that,
Dr. Cloutier,
yeah, unanimous second, I think.
you lost me this time.
Dr. Cloutier,
Dr. Cloutier,
unanimous second.
unanimous second. Do we have a unanimous second? Yes. Any public comment? So,
I have a comment. I just wanted to ask Superintendent Argeron to maybe go over a little bit. I know we don't know how much this project will cost, and we won't know until after the bids come in. But as a matter of funding this project, just kind of get an idea, you know, of where we're coming from to be able to pay for this.
Okay, yes, sir. So the main funding for this is going to come from what we call the building fund, which is part of the general fund. And the board has done historically a really good job of any surplus monies at just building this building fund for this specific type of project. So this project was part of the strategic task force's recommendations. So this has been something planned for several years. Clyde was also instrumental in initiating a lot of the discussions with Terrebonne High in particular. So we feel confident that the majority of the funding for this project will come from the building fund, and not at all asking for any money publicly through any taxes or anything beyond what is being collected right now. Nothing in addition to what we have.
All right, thank you. I think that just kind of gives us an idea of where we're going with this and how we plan to get there. So
Yes,
thank you
sir.
so much for the explanation.
Okay.
Mr. Ford.
To echo what Bubba's saying, I think this is an opportunity for us to reinvest in our flagship school. And I'd like to recognize Mr. Stevie. He's here if he wants to stand and be recognized. He's the mastermind behind this whole project, and I'm excited that he's on board, and I'm excited for my Terrebonne High. Yep, thank you.
Mr. Harden.
Thank you, Dr. Trahan. I think, Dr. Bud, with this project, I think we basically in control of it, how much basically we can spend. If it come in where it's a little high, we can kind of cut back on some things. I would like for everything to be in the plan, because I would agree with everything. It just depends on exactly what it's going to cost, and some things we might have to cut out if it's just, if we don't have the money to do it, because like you say, we're not going out and trying to raise taxes or do anything different with that. So we have to just kind of just stay within our budget. It's like going to the grocery store and you load your basket up, and then you realize you don't have enough money, you got to put some stuff back. So I think that's what the plan is to do, Dr. Bud.
Thank you.
Mr. Crowder.
So I would like to say a couple of things. Number one, I appreciate the superintendent's. This kind of happened with the teacher raises and everything. So from what I've learned, just from being on the board, is that, you know, there were some taxes and everything that were collected and that were put aside, and you know, the superintendent came to the board and said, "Hey, this money's here. It's time for a teacher raise, and we're using funds that are already there for the purpose for which they were collected." And I just want to say that I like that and I appreciate that. You mentioned the improvements on the school. The funds have been collected. They're there. Let's use the funds and wisely, you know, as Mr. Harding recommends. Of course, we're going to use them wisely. But the fact that we're using funds that are already there and dedicated to the purpose for which they've been collected, I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. The second comment is, I would like us to kind of keep in the back of our minds, you know, potentially, you know, the Fletcher program, the Fletcher building, and I don't know what the plans are for that in the future, but, you know, kind of keeping that on a burner somewhere to try to move in that direction for those those career
Yes, sir.
opportunities.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Ms.
Yeah.
Benoit.
Mr. Rome has as we all saw, a beautiful presentation on what his plans are for Terrebonne High. And once this gets approved, I think it's important to communicate this to the public. We talked about putting it on our website so that they could see that. But I would love that if we could bring it to, let's say, like a chamber meeting or something, to let the public, the broader public know that might not be perusing our website, but because I've talked to people in the community that were surprised to know that we were doing anything with Terrebonne High. And, but yet excited when they found out that something was going to happen there. So bringing it to some of the community leaders at, the chamber, I think is really the way to go to really get the word out to the other members of our community of what the plans are. And I just have a feeling they'll be 100% behind us in the support to get this done once they know the plans and they see his beautiful work. If Mr. Rome would be willing to go to the chamber and show that. Okay, that'd be great.
And Ms. Benoit, we did talk about it, Mr. Rome and I, about us kind of doing it together.
Yes.
Like just let me front load it and let him even
Yeah.
do the presentation
be great.
component of it, which would probably be a really big hit when he speaks about it.
Thank you.
Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Recommendation number 7. The committee recommends that the board approve and accept the attached plan for the use of funds derived from FEMA improved projects, pending FEMA approval. Moved by Mr. Ford.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cloutier. Any public comment? Mr. Ford?
I just want to say that with this project, just like I stated with Terrebonne, it's a reinvestment in the South Terrebonne community and in that entire community as a whole. I'm not saying South Terrebonne High School, I'm saying South Terrebonne community. And I'm excited about that because those people have been sticking it out for a long time, and it's time that we do something for them as well. And it's included in this
Mr.
recommendation.
Cloutier? Any other board members? And I just want to agree with Mr. Ford that it's been a long time, and we just have to face it that down the bayou we have more risks. It's just the way it is. And I'm so glad that we're finally going to get the South Terrebonne Middle School built on that property next to South Terrebonne High School.
Can I add one?
Mr. Ogeron.
Just a quick summary. This recommendation is about FEMA improved projects. An improved project is taking money from a damaged building and applying it to another project. So we have 3 main projects that we're applying damages throughout the district to these 3 projects. One is, like Mr. Ford mentioned, the South Terrebonne Middle School. Collectively, we're looking at a large sum of money that we're putting toward that school, which is about $20 million of anticipated FEMA money. That's anticipated, not guaranteed. The other project is the School for Exceptional Children. We moved that school to the Elysian Field site. We want to take the money from that site and apply it toward Elysian Fields to improve that for those students. And the third project is, like Mr. Crowdis mentioned, the Career and College Center at Fletcher. So we have some buildings at our current VOTEC that are damaged, and we want to take that money and apply all of that to that school there to kind of relocate, rehouse, redesign that building for that specific purpose of career education. Yes, sir.
Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Recommendation number 8, that the committee recommends that the board issue a notice to proceed as per contractual agreement to Orchestrate LLC for plans and specifications for the construction of the new South Terrebonne Middle School in response to Hurricane Ida, funds to be derived from FEMA, reimbursement funds, and local funds. Authorize the advertising of bids upon approval of final construction plans. Direct that any major project changes be reported to the Buildings, Food Service, and Transportation Committee prior to advertising for bids, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto pending FEMA approval. So moved, Mr. Ford. Second by Ms. Crowders. Any public comment? Mr. Ford?
Same sentiments, but this time I'm going to point out Ms. Shelley with Orchestrate and how pleased I am that they're on this project. And they gave us a beautiful presentation, and I'm excited about the school and the Blue Knights. And I'm just looking forward to it. Thank you.
Mr. Crowders? Yes, that presentation was very nice. I have those forms on my dining room table, and they stay there. Any, Mr. Ogeron?
Just, Dr. Cloutier, speaking with Ms. Olivier, she did have talks with DOTD about some traffic congestion potential. So she's working on that as you had kind of suggested. So that's being looked at specifically. So, and your recommendation will be considered too, but our dismissal procedures to kind of really alleviate some bus and car congestion.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Benoit?
Yeah, thank you. Shelley did give a beautiful presentation. She's done really wonderful work with designing the school. I have to say, we talked about the night thing and the colors and all of that stuff. And I went home that night and I started thinking about it. And I'm good with if that's what they want as far as the mascot and the colors, but I'm a little concerned about having those colors broadly displayed on the outside of the building next to South Terrebonne with the green, and they're close together and you have all these colors. If you look at all our schools, we don't have school colors on our buildings. There's school colors within the buildings, in the gyms and all of that. It just, I have to say it bothers me that there are going to be these bright colors competing with each other on campuses right next to each other. That's just me. Probably doesn't bother anybody else, but I have to say that. I think it's better to have those colors within the school and not on the outside of the school.
Well, you're right about that. South Terrebonne's building doesn't have any green on it.
No, South Down doesn't.
The little squares.
Yeah, but, I mean, our new schools that we just built, South Down, Grand Caillou, they don't have colors, their school colors on the outside of the building. And I find that and I don't know what the materials are, but I find that as the building ages, you use those bright colors, they start to fade, they don't look as fresh as just brick and whatever trim that you put on the outside. I just have to say that. Y'all may not change it, but I have to say it. I'm against
Ford.
it.
Well, you know when you mix blue and yellow.
I know, you said that. You
Just
said
say-
that.
Anyone else? Mr. Horton?
To piggyback off Ms. Benoit, I think you made some valid points in reference to being consistent with everything else that we have done, and then also the deterioration over years of the color of the building. I don't think that's knocking an architect at all. I just think that this a preference that you have, and I think that it might not be a bad idea to look at that situation. I still think that it's in our control to do what we need to do if we feel we need to do that. And I think that we need to be consistent looking at all other schools, the wing on HL, South Down, and also